What's up, guys? This is the final part of Agent Holmes. So I'll be finishing, then that'll be it for this season in terms of talking about real life cases. And then for the last 7 episodes, I'll be talking about something that I actually created myself about 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. I mean, late March. I first got the idea in February of 2017, so it's basically been 3 years of The Man, which is a slasher series that I created, a slasher franchise. So yeah. So if you missed last episode, I got into H.H. Holmes' first victims, and now I'm going to get into his capture and arrest. But it's kind of quieted down since getting that big snowstorm that we had about a week and a half ago. Ever since we got that storm, it hasn't really snowed or even rained at all. And I'm just glad that it finally snowed. Last year it didn't snow until mid-December. I think it was December 12th last year that we first got our first snowfall. We got our first snowfall on the first week of November, so that was pretty cool. So, I'm not sick anymore, but my chest still hurts, and my father told me, because he's a PA, he said that even though you don't have the flu anymore, you can still get symptoms, flu-like symptoms, up to a week after. So, that's just great. Alright, so let's get into this. So, with insurance companies pressing to prosecute Holmes for arson, Holmes left Chicago in July 1894. He reappeared in Fort Worth, where he had inherited property from the Williams sisters, located at the intersection of modern-day Commerce Street and 2nd Street. There, he sought to construct another, quote, castle, end quote, along the lines of his Chicago operation, once again swindling a number of suppliers. In July 1894, Holmes was arrested and briefly incarcerated for the first time. On the charge of selling mortgage goods in St. Louis, Missouri. He was promptly bailed out, but while in jail, he struck up a conversation with a convicted outlaw named Marion Hedgepeth, who was serving a 25-year sentence. Holmes had concocted a plan to swindle an insurance company out of $10,000, equivalent to $290,000 in 2018, for taking out a policy on himself and then faking his death. Holmes promised Hedgeworth a $500 commission in exchange for the name of a lawyer who would be trusted. Holmes was directed to a young St. Louis attorney named Jephthah Hull. Hull was in practice with his older brother Alfonso Hull, who had no involvement with Holmes or Pitsy or their fraudulent activities. Jephthah Hull, however, found Holmes' schemes brilliant. Nevertheless, Holmes' plan to fake his own death failed when the insurance company became suspicious and refused to pay. Holmes did not press the claim. Instead, he concocted a similar plan with Pitzel. It was agreed to fake his own death so that his wife would collect on a $10,000 life insurance policy, which she was to split with Holmes and Jephthah Hull. The scheme, which was to take place in Philadelphia, called for Pitzel to set himself up as an inventor under the name B.F. Perry and then be killed and disfigured in a lab explosion. Holmes was to find an appropriate cadaver to play the role of Pitzel. Instead, Holmes killed Pitzel by knocking him unconscious with chloroform and setting his body on fire with use of benzene. Holy crap. In his confession, Holmes implied Pitzel was still alive after he used the chloroform on him prior to being set on fire. However, forensic evidence presented on Holmes' later trial showed chloroform had been administered after Pitzel's death, a fact which the insurance company was unaware of, presumably to fake suicide to exonerate Holmes should he be charged with murder. Holmes proceeded to collect the insurance payout on the basis of a genuine Pitzel corpse. Holmes then went on to manipulate Pitzel's unsuspecting wife into allowing 3 of her 5 children, Alice, Neely, and Howard, to be in his custody. The eldest daughter and the baby remained with Mrs. Pitzel. Holmes and the 3 Pitzel children traveled throughout the northern United States and into Canada. Simultaneously, he extorted Mrs. Pitzel along a parallel route, all the while using various aliases and lying to Mrs. Pitzel concerning her husband's death, claiming Pitzel was hiding in London, as well as lying to her about the true whereabouts of her 3 missing children. In Detroit, just prior to entering Canada, they were only separated by a few blocks. And an even more audacious move, Holmes was staying at another location with his wife, who was unaware of the whole affair. Holmes would later confess to murdering Alice and Nellie by forcing them into a large trunk and locking them inside. He drilled a hole in the lid of the trunk and put one end of the hose through the hole and attached the other end to a gas line to asphyxiate the girls. Holmes buried their bodies in the cellar of his rental house at 16 St. Vincent Street in Toronto. Wow, that's really sad. This home and address no longer exist. St. Vincent Street having long since been realigned into a part of Bay Street. Frank Geyer, Philadelphia police detective assigned to investigate Holmes and find the 3 missing children, found the decomposed bodies of the 2 Pitzel girls in the cellar of Toronto home. Detective Geyer wrote, "The deeper we dug, the more horrible the odor became, and then when we reached the depth of 3 feet, we discovered what appeared to be the bone of the forearm of a human being." End quote. Geyer then went to Indianapolis, where Holmes rented a cottage. Holmes was reported to have visited a local pharmacy to purchase the drugs which he used to kill Howard Pitzel, and a repair shop to sharpen the knives he used to chop up the body before he burned it. The boy's teeth and bits of bones were discovered in the home's chimney. Holmes' murder spree finally ended when he was arrested in Boston on November 17, 1894, after being tracked there from Philadelphia by the Pinkertons. He was held on an outstanding warrant for horse theft in Texas, as the authorities had become more suspicious at this point, and Holmes appeared poised to flee the country in the company of his unsuspecting 3rd wife. Following the discovery of Alice and Nellie's bodies in July 1895, Chicago police and reporters began investigating Holmes' building in Englewood, now locally referred to as, quote, the castle, end quote. Though many sensational claims were made, no evidence was found which could have convicted Holmes in Chicago. According to Seltzer, stories of the torture equipment found in the building are 20th century fiction, but I actually believe they are true. In October of 1895, Holmes was put on trial for the murder of Benjamin Pitzel and was found guilty and sentenced to death. By then, it was evident Holmes had also murdered the Pitzel children. Following his conviction, Holmes confessed to 27 murders in Chicago, Indianapolis, and Toronto. Though some persons he, quote, confessed, end quote, to murdering were still alive, and 6 attempted murders, Holmes was paid $7,500, worth $226,000 today, by the Hearst newspapers in exchange for his confession, which was quickly found to be almost nonsense. Holmes gave various contradictory accounts of his life, initially claiming innocence and later that he was possessed by Satan. Of course, his prosperity, his propensity for lying has made it difficult for researchers to ascertain the truth on the basis of his statements. While writing his confessions in prison, Holmes mentioned how drastically his facial appearance had changed since his imprisonment. He described his new grim appearance as, quote, gruesome and taking a satanical cast, end quote, and wrote he was now convinced that after everything that he had done, he was beginning to resemble the devil. On May 7, 1896, Holmes was hanged at Moya Menzing Prison, also known as the Philadelphia County Prison, for the murder of Pitzel. Till the moment of his death, Holmes remained calm and amiable, showing very few signs of fear, anxiety, or depression. Despite this, he asked for his coffin to be contained in cement and buried 10 feet deep because he was concerned grave robbers would steal his body and use it for dissection. Holmes' neck did not snap. He instead was strangled to death slowly, twitching for about 50 minutes before being pronounced dead 20 minutes after the trap had been sprung. On New Year's Eve, 1909, Hedgepath, who had been pardoned for informing on Holmes, was shot and killed by police officer Edward Burrick during a holdup at a Chicago saloon. On May 7, 1914, the Chicago Tribune reported that with the death of Quinlan, the former caretaker of the castle, but the mystery of Holmes' castle would remain unexplained. Quinlan had died by suicide by taking strychnine. His body was found in his bedroom with a note that read, quote, "I couldn't sleep," end quote. Quinlan's surviving relatives claimed that he had been, quote, "haunted," end quote, for several months and was suffering from hallucinations. The castle itself was mysteriously gutted by fire in August of 1895. According to a newspaper clipping from the New York Times, 2 men were seen entering the back of the building between 8 and 9 p.m. About half an hour later, they were seen exiting the building and rapidly running away. Following several explosions, the castle went up in flames. Afterwards, investigators had a half-empty gas can underneath the back steps of the building. The building survived the fire and remained in use until it was torn down in 1938. The site is occupied by the Englewood branch of the United States Postal Service. In 2017, amid allegations Holmes had in fact escaped execution, Holmes' body was exhumed for testing. Due to his coffin being contained in cement, his body was found not to have decomposed normally. His clothes were almost perfectly preserved, and the mustache was found intact. The body was positively identified as being that of Holmes. With his teeth, Holmes was then reburied. And that is it. So make sure to like and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later.